Yeah, so I'm talking about feeling numb and disassociated, and I'm talking about disassociation, yeah, feeling of basically being Caribbean ethnicity in this British country, British culture. And I've been talking about when I was at college, yeah, many years ago. I was studying English literature, and I was the only black female in class of all the class was female. Every other female on the course was either Indian or Pakistani. And even when I was at school, I was one of these kids at school. I just I got like A for everything, A's all. So in history, I was quite good at history. And my history teacher, she used to try and encourage me. She was like, oh, you should study. I used to get A all the time for my work. And she'd be like, you should study history, like when you finish school, maybe when you go to college, university. And I just used to look at her and think, yeah, okay, you're only telling me that because you think I should be interested in history as in like slavery. That's what I used to think when she'd say this, yeah. You think, oh, I'm black, I should go and learn all about my African slavery heritage and all this, and learn all about slavery. Yeah, and I was not interested. When I was at school, I just totally was not interested in going to study history to learn all about slavery or any type of history. I just was not interested. And so because I told you many times, yeah, I was just, when I was at school, college, all I was thinking about was going to America. All I was thinking about was going to some top performing arts school and doing drama and being like some actress and all of this palaver. That's all really I was thinking about. And so when I was at college, I was doing English literature, and two teachers I had, they were both really good teachers actually. All the teachers there in that college, they were really good teachers. It was a good college. But yeah, so when you do these modules, there's a portion, isn't there? There's like 80% or something. You spend 80% studying the books that are on the curriculum, and then you get like 20% or something like this, 10% of your mark or something like this. You get to choose a book of your own, choosing what you would like to look more into and do an assignment about that. And I remember at this time, I think it was around this time where our books that we had to study, that we had to do our assignments on for our like end of year exam or whatever it was like E.M. Forster, Passage to India, and I think we were in review, I think so. And then we could choose out of a selection another one, what we wanted to do. And I always remember like my teacher, I remember they brought in these books of Maya Angelou and Alice Walker. And I always remember the way the teacher, the way she glanced her eyes over all the students in the class, and it was like she was waiting for me, because I was the only black girl on the course, to put my hands up and be like, oh yeah, I want to do The Colour Purple, Alice Walker, or oh yeah, I want to do Maya Angelou or whatever. Yeah, and I just, at this time, I was totally not interested. I was not interested in, I watched the movie The Colour Purple like when I was maybe like 6 years old. I don't even think at that time I even knew who the frig Oprah Winfrey was. She's in that movie. But I was not interested in the absolute slightest to learn anything about Alice Walker, to study and write all about The Colour Purple or Maya Angelou, I just was not interested. I was like, yeah, you think, yeah, I should be interested in this just because, yeah, I'm black, yeah, I'm the only black female on the course, so naturally that's what I should be interested in, but I just wasn't, basically. Yeah, so when you go through these institutions, as black Caribbean, they always want to be brainwashing you about slavery and thinking that you should learn and know something about slavery. And yeah, I think that contributed to part of the reason why sometimes I always remember myself sitting in the class and looking out the window and thinking about, previous year I was in America, I was in New York, and I'll just be looking out the window thinking about going back to New York, going back to be with my mum in New York, and going to drama school and all this palaver. And I used to be sitting out the window also just thinking this thought, like, you people, you always want to just be brainwashing me about slavery. Yeah, and I'd be sitting there thinking about ancient Egypt. And I'd be sitting there thinking, what if I write an assignment, yeah? What if I choose something that's more inclined towards, you know, how like the ancient Egyptians were actually black, you know, or the black Nubians, you know, and how all the black African Egyptians actually started, you know, civilization, you know, but you people are just always like in denial, and you just always want to be referring us to slavery and the slave trade, and always be trying to remind us, you know what, you're just nothing but a black slave, you're just a slave, and that's where you come from, is slaves. You know, you're always trying to just imprint this in our mind, rather than saying this, you know, because I was like, I don't know, 18, 19, I wasn't going to stand up in front of the class, you know, my English literature class, you know, and get on my soapbox, you know, and start saying all of this, you know, to the teacher in front of all these like Indian and Pakistani girls. Obviously, I was, you know, I wasn't going to say all that. So all of this would just be going on like in my head, basically. Oh, you people, you always just want to be reminding us how you come from slaves, but you never really want to talk about the reality, you know, of like black African and black ancient Egypt, you know, and how black Africans actually were the real ones who like started civilization, you know, but you never really, just in denial about it, you know, like denial, you know, you never really want to talk about it. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say for this video, so check out the next part. I got a lot to say about this topic, I'm really just getting started, so speak to you later, bye.